What is up, guys? We are live. My name is Jack McNeil of BaseballCentral.com, joined by the very honorable Jaye Chapman. He's joining us from Atlanta, usually in Florida this time of year. And the big news, without mentioning another city, he signed with the Milwaukee Brewers. Just a few days ago. We actually broke the story, which we were honored to do so, having him on the show last year. No correlation between having him on the show and breaking the story. But he was a free agent when we had him on last year. And this season he obviously got the minor league contract with the Milwaukee Brewers, something that was improbable a year ago because of injuries, and he was released by the Cubs and this and that. And you're kind of unsure where you go from there. He plays a year with the Independent League and the Atlanta League coast, and now he is with the Milwaukee Brewers. So first off, Jay, without telling your whole life story here, as I just did in the past 30 seconds, how are you doing? How are you enjoying the offseason? And congratulations on the new deal.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's really cool. The offseason is just got a lot more stress taken off of it, because you know how that can get when you're waiting to find jobs and all that. But it's been a huge blessing, man, and I'll just, like I said, got to thank Josh and the Milwaukee Brewers. I couldn't be happier for the opportunity, and like I said, it was something when it came my way, I was kind of, I still think I can pitch in the big leagues, but for somebody else to say, hey, man, we think you can too, it's a pretty big deal.
Absolutely. Now, there was an article today about Tim Gustafson, who was in the Independent League with you last year, and he signed with the Orioles. And he had the same mentality. He said, no one had told me that I could pitch in the major leagues since Tommy John surgery in 2007 until 2011. So I guess the first thing is, what is that like as a player for you to go through a year or two of kind of uncertainty? And, did you lose any confidence in your ability to pitch, or was your confidence there and you were just hoping others and teams would follow suit?
Well, and I think Tim would tell you the same. I mean, my confidence, and this is just, I guess, part of being an athlete, but my confidence never really wavered. I was sitting here, I knew that the surgical history, my surgical history did not look pretty. So when doctors would look into it, they were like, oof, we don't know, this guy's had a ton of work done on his hips. And I'm sitting here telling people like, man, I told you last year, and I said, man, I'm better. I'm better than I was before surgery. That's the whole gist of it. Right. But yeah, I never lost confidence. But for somebody to show confidence in me now is huge. It is huge.
Absolutely, and the Milwaukee Brewers are obviously doing that. A team that your agent, Josh Kuznick, has gotten kind of comfortable with over the years. Now, he mentioned Josh wrote an article in Baseball Prospectus about the Tigers, and he had a scout who was very interested in you last year before you ended up signing with the Independent League. And basically, at the end of the day, they said, we just think he's rushing back from the injury. How do you feel compared to last offseason when you're working out for teams trying to prove that you can be a big league pitcher like you were with the Chicago Cubs, and compared to this offseason where you've had more time to recover, you played a whole season independent baseball, you pitched well, and it's a different kind of to prove, I guess. So what would be the difference you feel physically and mentally between trying to prove the injury and then now you have another season in your belt just trying to get back on a major league club?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, in all honesty, last year probably did try to. I went through for the Tiger Scout. When he was, I was only like 6 months out of surgery at the time, and I was trying to tell people I was like 88 to 91 in the bullpen, and I was trying to tell people like I'm ready, I'm ready to go, but I really wasn't. I was just telling, but I just, you're never gonna tell anybody that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, I honestly at the time thought I was ready to go. But where I feel now compared to where I was last year at this time is just not even close, night and day. I feel like a brand new man. And last year there was still, natural little kinks post surgery. Like I said, only being 6 months out. But like I said, I went and made 50 appearances this year, and the first half of the season was kind of rough. I was just getting back into it, but the second half of the season went extremely well. So I feel great.
Absolutely. And now they're kind of using the term, revitalizing, getting a second chance at your career because coming back from the dead, not to say you're a zombie or anything, but, just this whole idea that you have basically, you didn't have the labrums in your hip, and doctors are saying How has this guy been pitching and successfully pitching for this long? Obviously, towards the end of it, you showed some signs of wavering with the Cubs, and then they made those moves. But there was a period where you were still working through that pain, and you were pitching through it. Take us back to that, at the peak of your pain level. First off, how long did you deal with that pain before you actually addressed it? And second of all, how did you pitch with that for so long?
Well, it's like I had probably started feeling pain in my hips, yeah, like pretty prevalent when I was probably like 2011. I had felt it some in 2010, but it was just continued getting worse. In 2011, I was, starting to be like, man, this really hurts. Like my hips are starting to really hurt. Not like a muscle pain either. That's the difference. I mean, it was like inside my hip socket was starting to hurt. But the thing was, Jack, is that at the time I had like a I had like a 1 in AAA. I wasn't, so I was just thinking, man, if I could just stick this out, the Braves are going to call me up. I'm going to be in the big leagues. So I tried to do that. I just tried to just grit my teeth and bear it. And then they didn't call me up that year. But at the end of the year, they put me on the roster. They put me on the Major League roster. So I'm thinking, you know what, I'll just go into camp, try to make the, sooner or later, the idea of me pitching the big leagues outweighed the fact that I could pitch through some pain to not miss a full year, which is actually what I ended up doing. Right. So that's kind of what happened.
Right, and then now, of course, you were part of that trade, went over to the Cubs, and there was a point in time where Josh Kuznick and you were not, you guys were separated, he wasn't your agent, and then, of course, when the moves that the Cubs made, you're not on the roster, you're a free agent, and you felt that your agency at the time maybe wasn't in your best interest and thought that because you were hurt, you didn't have a chance, and of course, Josh and you reconnected there. Tell me about that transitional phase, not only just giving Josh a second chance, but just being a free agent, having that much uncertainty, and now a year later you're signed with a major league club.
Well, here's the deal, man. Is like, I got non-tendered, and then I signed. That was right when I came out of the big leagues. Was when that happened. So the Cubs, they offered me a guaranteed deal just right away. They said, before you even enter free agency, we want to agree to this deal before we take you off the roster. And so the agent at the time, whatever, we did that. So that's when I had the hip surgery. Now, like the funny part is, I never got like released or anything. Right. Like I just had surgery, and I had signed a 1-year minor league contract with the Cubs. And so when that ended on like October 25th, 5 days after the World Series, it was just kind of like, all right, like what do I do now? Like, and so I was trying to talk to the guy, and we was telling me, no one's interested, this and that. I was like, really? Like, not one team is interested in me? And then, so then I had run into Josh at my buddy David Hernan's wedding, and he was like, listen, man, I think I can really help you out. And it's good. We exchanged pleasantries, like, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. And we had kept up via text, the whole time. It wasn't like a hard feelings type of deal. Josh he's always been a good friend of mine. It was just a huge misunderstanding of what had happened. Mm-hmm. And as if you've read the article, he got very sick. I didn't know that. And it's nobody's fault really, but I had no idea that was what was going on. So when we reunited, it was just like, I've had full confidence in him from the set. And the way he was talking to me at that point, I was like, man, he's going to get me back. I know for sure he is.
Absolutely. And, of course, he did get you back on the Brewers deal. I apologize for getting the facts wrong on the Cubs release. I did not realize that it was a minor league contract, and then they kind of just like, all right, we'll let you go. But now, of course, entering the 2015 season, you have the deal very early in the offseason. So how does getting it done so early affect your mentality the rest of the offseason, and what has been your workout regime this year moving forward?
Yeah, getting it done this early in the offseason is the biggest like stress reliever you can have. Just to go ahead and say, listen, I know where I'm going. And now I just got to focus on that. I've talked to a lot of people that have injuries and have had stuff like this. You don't really sign until later in the offseason, and they're kind of, you just you know what's going to happen, but at the same time you're just like a little stressed about it. So with that being said, I'm just totally focused on my workouts. My workouts have been great. My hips feel great. My lifts have been going really well. So I'm feeling really confident about this year, man. Super confident.
Absolutely. So I guess staying with that kind of tone, do you have any expectations for the year in terms of, certain goals to make the big league roster by this time, or are you kind of going into it just with that mentality like, you know what, I've been given a second chance, let's just make the most of it, results will follow?
Yeah, I mean, if I could ever help the team in any sort of way, that's what I would want to do. But my goal is just, yeah, have some pretty high goals, man. I mean, I want to come make a statement. That's something I want to do. I think I can. I think I can. I feel healthy, and I just want to, I just want my results to show the work I've put in. You know.
Now, do you think you are major league ready if the season started, say, just in April? Do you think you're major league ready by that time, or do you think it would be best for you to have some time at AAA to ease your way into it, or do you think indie ball has prepared you? You're ready to go.
I think I can get major league hitters out, Jack.
That's what I love to hear, man. That is great. Now, speaking of the indie ball experience, because I think a lot of people are kind of uneducated about that specific experience. So, going into it, what were your thoughts about it? Was just like, I just need a pitch, I need a place to pitch, this is where I'm going. And then by the end of it, what were the biggest things that you may have learned about the league itself and the players in it?
Man, it was a little bit different. Like you said, this place was giving me an opportunity to pitch, and I was like, I was uneducated about it, as you said. I mean, I was like, I don't, like I told you earlier, I said, I don't know anything about it, and there's people telling me, like, like, listen, there's good players. I mean, there's good players in that league. There's a lot of good players. Like, I faced Ryan Langerhans, Delwyn Young, those, like, major league type guys, A lot of guys I had faced in AAA before, and stuff like that, but it's just different, it's different. The feeling is a little bit different. You're sitting here, like I said, I was just trying at this point, the first part of the season, to get my pitches back to where I thought they needed to be. I was throwing sliders that, they were very inconsistent. I hadn't thrown in a long time, and a lot of people don't understand when you don't go to spring training with a major league club. When you go to independent ball, that's just pretty much like pitch. Like, here you go, pitch. There's no spring training, really, nothing like that. So, like, the third time I'd thrown off a mound, like, I was I was in a game. And I was like, oh my gosh, man. So I'd give up a hit and walk two guys. I got one guy out, but I was just like, man, what is going on? Like, I had no idea what my pitches were doing. So that was kind of tough, and that's why I said the first half of the season was kind of iffy, because I was just trying to get reacclimated to being in a game, number one. Number two, you're facing some pretty good hitters, man. And, I think it's a good league, and I think what they do is great. I mean, I can't thank Bridgeport enough for what they did for me. They gave me a chance to keep pitching.
And now we have two Bridgeport players already signed within a week. You and Tim, both clients of Joshua Kuznick. Tim going to the Orioles. Tim Gustafson there. Actually, I think we're bringing him on the show next week to kind of talk about.
Let me tell you what, he's a great guy, and he deserves it, man. This guy deserves it. I'm telling you what.
I've heard only good things so far. I noticed some exchanges between you and his wife on Twitter. Were you guys roommates, or how close were you guys on the team last year?
Well, let me tell you what, man. We have been we played with the Braves together a long time ago. So we have been, we have, like, through low A. We were roommates in double A, and we were roommates on the road in double A as well. We were living together, at home and on the road, and that's how it was in Bridgeport, So, man, he's such a great guy, and he really was. This is one of the things, Jack, I honestly couldn't believe, because I had some major injuries, like hip injuries. I was only 7.5 months out of surgery, but this guy was, like, driving fastballs 94, 95 by guys, and I'm going, like, how does this guy? I mean, what is this guy got to do? I mean, he legitimately was sitting, 93, 95, 94, 95 every time out. And I'm just like, what does he got to do?
Right. I'm hearing he's getting up even higher to the 98 range potentially as a closer, comparable to a guy like Jim Henderson. So maybe that's just his agent selling, but that's what I'm.
This guy has a good arm. I mean, I saw him. I've seen him with my own two eyes holding a radar gun up to 97.
Wow.
And I'm talking about, like, power four-seamers. I mean, this ball's driving. I mean, if you go look at his strikeout numbers, all those strikeouts are on heaters. I mean, he's not, like, tricking people. I mean, he's just throwing it by guys. You know what I mean? So, he just has one of those special fastballs, Right. And the thing is Tim he's been, he's been, like, what I call, like, a little too good, and then, and then bad, because he'll be so good, his stuff will be so good, they'll go, hey, we want you to start.
Right.
So he'll start, and then they'll go, you know what, we want you in the pen. So they'll put him in the pen, and they'll go, you know what, why don't you make a spot start? So he's never been,
just
I feel like, right. And this year with Bridgeport, they kept him in the pen the whole year, and I mean, you see what happened.
Yes.
I mean, he was an all-star, lights out, just ridiculous,
Yeah, unbelievable results as a reliever. And yeah, you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, 140 innings pitched, 5-something ERA, 60, 2. You know what I mean? So it's like you
Yeah.
pitch less and you're a reliever, and the numbers are microscopic. So we'll talk to him. I didn't realize you guys were roommates until today. We should have had you guys both on the show. That would have been a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fantastic story. Within a week of each other signing, so I'm sure very excited times there. Now, moving forward. Well, I guess not moving forward. We've covered that. This is just kind of the more the personal segment in terms of what do you do in the offseason outside of baseball-related stuff. I mean, I know some players last year, certain shows on Netflix, certain music. They just I got to get this Spotify playlist, and that's my workout music. So, what is there something about you that players would find interesting in terms of maybe what kind of music you listen to, a show that you wouldn't expect you to watch, but you do, some binge watching something, any of those type of things that stand out to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on this show House of Cards. I can't,
Yeah.
I haven't well, you got a big yes, we got a big yes from two people here. So
Yes.
I haven't even made it to the first episode.
There we go.
Thank you for that. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying to. I hear nothing but good things about it. I've also been trying to get on the show Lost a little bit. I haven't got dabbled too much into it, but I've heard a lot of good things about that as well.
I will personally say House of Cards is maybe the best show I've seen. It's up there. I have not dabbled with Lost too much as well. Now, when it comes to music, I saw you tweet a picture of Bob Marley. You're obviously a very relaxed guy. Are you just into that reggae, Jack Johnson, occasional kind of mellow music, or do you like secretly listen to like screamo or dubstep also, but just don't tell people?
Man, I could get. Hey, listen, I'm not even joking. I could roll with whatever. Like, like if I'm in the mood, like I get a little Bob Marley going, just to kind of sit back. Like,
Right.
if I'm working out, I might go with some heavy kind of like rock music, and and like if I'm feeling it, the locker room after a win, we got some dubstep going or whatever. I might, fist pump it out a little bit. You never know.
Got that trap
Yeah.
music going. Now, even country,
right.
though,
That's right. You know how that works.
when you said everything, that includes country.
Yeah, you know what, man? I mean, I'm from the South, so there are a
Right, okay.
few country songs I will dabble in, man. I will dabble in some country from time to time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we got
That's
House of Cards, maybe Lost. We have
maybe, right.
traps and trees, everything trap, and some heavy rock and some country as well, just because geographical reasons, not really anything
Sure,
related to the music itself.
sure.
Because if it was music-wise, I don't think anyone would listen to it. So
Right.
we'll just blame it on that.
Yeah,
So
right,
again,
right.
we got Jaye Chapman here with us today. Jay, unless you have a final thought you want to send out to all the baseball fans in the world. First of all, when did you actually join Twitter? Because you're already up to a few thousand followers. Like yesterday, you had like 300 or 400, didn't you?
And like 700 maybe something like that. I mean, it's been really. I joined Twitter. I've been on Twitter for a while. And I was telling some people, it's like when the story had broke, and I was on like Josh has been kind of taking care of all the media stuff, and I was on the front page of the Brewers website, and I was on the front page of like Major League Baseball for a while, and they kind of just went up. They kind of just went.
They went with it. They're going berserk. The Brewers fans love you. They love it's obviously a great story, and they're going to be cheering on you all the way. So let's get you to 10K by the end of the offseason. I think that's realistic.
Hey, and then I've heard nothing but great things about the Brewers fans while we're here. I just want to say that.
You do have to address the Brewers fans because I'm sure most of the audience will be, and in the future will be Brewers fans. So I'll give you a 20-second period to just talk about how much you love the Brewers fans right now.
Man, the Brewers fans are great. All the love on Twitter has been legit. I appreciate it. I can't wait to meet you guys, and hopefully you guys won't be booing me too much. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks.
That is a class act at its finest there. I mean, it is very genuine, and it's a great story, obviously. Coming back from the dead, not a zombie, don't worry, but he is coming back from the dead. That is interesting. That's another show, The Walking Dead. Have you ever gotten into that?
Yeah, I got on The Walking Dead for a minute. I mean, for a good little while. I haven't seen the. Is it over? It's over, isn't it? No, it's not over. It's still
It's not
going.
over, but I just don't. I don't know. I never really got into it. That's why
You
I
didn't get
asked.
into it.
I didn't. I didn't. I
I'm,
like the first few episodes, then I'm done.
I got into Breaking Bad heavily for a while too. I can't finish them. I can't finish I don't know why.
Really? Is it
Yeah, I
too?
just.
Is it too dark for you? It seems like your personality fits a more. Even though House of Cards is kind of dark too, but
That's
for
what
some
I've
reason
heard.
I can't see you sitting and watching. There's got to be what 100+ hours of Breaking Bad. A lot
That's
of it
what I
is.
mean. It's just too much TV, man. I think it's what it is. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
like 4 more seasons to watch.
Yeah,
I can't
it's
do it.
intense. It's a great show, very intense, long episodes for sure. I'm talking comedies. What would it be? Arrested Development. Have to ask. Did you get into that?
I have heard of some comedies, Orange is the New Black, stuff like this.
Good
I like
stuff.
those. I have not seen them. I need to see them. I'm more of a comedy type of guy.
Okay, comedy. The League is fantastic
The
in terms
League,
of sports TV shows. Short episodes, hilarious on Netflix. Um, Weeds is pretty funny.
Weeds.
Yes, great show. I mean, there's a lot of good shows out there. If you want to go the drama, political, House of Cards is your thing. Comedy, you got Weeds, The League.
Have you ever heard
Arrested
of the
Development.
show New Girls? A New Girl?
I have.
With
Zoe
Zoe Deschanel. Yeah, I got it. I
Ah,
watched the first episode last night. It's hilarious.
is it? I mean,
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen it
pretty
on,
funny.
but there's something about Zoe Deschanel that I don't like. I don't know what it is.
What?
You know what I mean? Like there's. Wait. Make that face one more time. I'll put the screen on. How did you react to that?
What?
Okay. Damn. That's. I just think.
I love her.
I don't know. There's something where it's like this caricature almost of a person where she's just like quirky all the time, and it's just like
That is
almost,
true.
you know what I mean? It's almost
That
not
is
even,
true, but I think she's like I think she has a very weird way of being funny, which I
She
appreciate.
does. I'll give it to her there. And you know what? She was fantastic in Elf, so I can't really bag her. Overplayed, but still one of the best holiday movies. Speaking of movies, we'll make it this the last question. I'll try unless it goes elsewhere. Have you seen any really good movies lately?
Not really. I think I'm gonna go see. I mean, you can judge me all you want, my friend, but I think I'm gonna go see the Hunger Games tomorrow, and then
I'm judging you. I'm judging you.
I read the books, man. I read the books.
Okay.
I gotta go do what I gotta do.
My problem is I'll probably get more hate on this than you because most people actually love the Hunger Games, but
Yeah.
I haven't read the books, and I saw the first one, and I just never really got that connection to it because it was a decent movie, but if you don't read the books and get involved in the series, you're not gonna feel any connection to it because it's just a movie. It's just like a somewhat like sci-fi action movie. It's basically
Sure. So I had read the books, but hey, let me tell you what. The Equalizer, that was a great movie.
That looks fantastic. Anything Denzel Washington is good. I will say this: if you actually want to watch, I wouldn't say a life-changing movie, but at least for 5 minutes after the movie, you'll be like feeling the walls. Interstellar. Uh,
Listen, man, my
3 hours
brother went and
movie?
saw that. Said it was really good.
Oh, it's
Have you
fantastic.
seen that?
I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, I saw it. Was a long movie. Don't get me wrong,
It's
but
so
if you
long,
want to see
though.
a good movie, and then you walk out and you're like feeling the walls, checking for like parallel universes, Interstellar is your movie. It's
I need to
pretty
go
perfect.
see it.
It's great.
That's what he said. Talked about black holes and stuff like that.
Yep. And basically what I learned was if you get sucked into a black hole, you'll probably survive.
And that's a pretty good thing to know.
It's a great thing to know. I don't know how factual it would be, but in the movie, that's basically what I picked out of it. So yeah, that's definitely out there. Nightcrawler, I want to say I saw that. Fantastic. Equalizer, I got to catch up on that. So what? Just to give fans a look at your day when you wake up, workout-wise. How many hours a day? What's the timetable? You're a morning, night guy. What is it for workouts?
I mean, usually I work out during the mid afternoon, but I've been up here in Atlanta with a friend of mine, and we work out at like 6 in the morning. So it's kind of getting a little crazy, But I work out. I usually get up, eat some breakfast, let that settle, eggs, oatmeal, something that's going to digest pretty easy, and then go hit the weights. If it's legs, I'm doing squats, deadlifts, lunges, all that good stuff. Some box jumps, some sprints. I'm gonna be ready to go. I'm gonna be ready to go, man.
Absolutely. Well, that is great to hear. don't like the idea of waking up that early, but it is what it is.
I know. I gotta try to sleep in a little more. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy it before you actually have to wake up that early on buses and things.
Spring training and stuff, man. I'm trying to tell them.
Yeah, they won't listen, man. They don't listen. I'll tell you that.
I know, man.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Jay, so much for coming on the show. I do apologize on getting the Cubs facts wrong.
No, it's totally fine, man.
But I'm glad we had the conversation that we've had, and of course, fans have gotten to know you a little better. Now, I want to give fans one chance here. You know what? Actually, screw it. I was gonna say because the cool features you can comment on YouTube and they show up and I can put them on the screen. But I forget what part of this. Maybe it's in the control room. I don't know. But I'm hoping that there's been. Usually they notify me when there is. So I'm gonna go ahead and pretend like there hasn't. If there ends up being some, I'll just put it on Twitter. Maybe you can do some sort of fan questionnaire. People love that stuff. But without further ado, Jay, thanks so much for joining us out in Atlanta, Georgia. Even if the weather is bad there, it's still much better than what it is up here in the Midwest. So just think about that. And I'm sure you'll be getting back. When do you go back to Florida? When do you go back to your home in Panama? Yeah, you say?
Yeah, my roots, I'm going to stay here in Atlanta for just a little bit. Like I said, just till like Tuesday, I think, and then I'm going to be back in Panama City for probably the remainder of the off season, But hey, before we go, I just wanted to make sure I thank Josh, Kuznick, Gord Ash with the Brewers and the Milwaukee Brewers, as a whole organization for the opportunity they're giving me. And I want to thank you for letting me on the show. And I want to tell you guys I appreciate all this, man. It's really humbling, and I appreciate it, man. I don't take it lightly.
Absolutely. Well, we very much so appreciate being able to be part of it, and obviously announcing the news on Monday and having you on here. It's very timely, and it's very fitting that we're kind of going all full circle. We had you in the show as a free agent, and now almost a year later, you are signed with the Brewers. So you had to thank the owners and everything. That is a classy move, and of course your agent Josh Kuznick, who I believe might actually be coming on the show later tonight to talk about these deals and the market itself. So, again, Jay, thanks so much. You guys can follow him on Twitter. What is your Twitter name? Just so I don't even want to take the time to look it up. I don't want to waste the time. What is your
it's the letter J, Chappy, the letter J, and then the word Chappy, CHPPY 33.
Okay. J Chappy 33. And J in that case is just the letter J, not the actual name J, just in case you're so again, that is Jaye Chapman, Jaye Chappy 33 on Twitter. He's growing exponentially here, going from 700 to almost 4,000 or 5,000 in a day. So let's get him to 10K there. So Jay, again, thanks so much for joining us today. Hope you have a great off season. Happy Thanksgiving, early Thanksgiving. I cannot wait to be out of school for that. And enjoy Georgia. Maybe wake up a little later tomorrow. Negotiate here. 8 to 9 is much more reasonable than 6.
That's right. That's what I'm trying. I'm doing my part too. I'm trying.
Absolutely. So again, you have a great night, Jay. I'm sure we'll be talking to you whether it's spring training or next year, talking about you helping the Brewers win the NL Central here as a shutdown reliever. So Jay, we'll speak soon, I'm sure. Otherwise, enjoy the night. Wake up later tomorrow and have a great offseason.
Hey, thanks, Jack. I really appreciate it.
All right, that is Jaye Chapman, guys, signing off with Baseball Central. My name is Jack McNeil. That is Jaye Chapman, Jaye Chappy 33. Thanks for watching.